Wolford raised the first $2 million of AudioMob, making less than $1 a month. Pitch after pitch after pitch, getting teared down, getting absolutely flogged, going back, reconstructing the pitch. I mean, I think I made like easily over 100 iterations of my pitch deck. It's lean into your weakness and conquer it, and you will be much, much more well-rounded. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I guess I've matured over the years, and I used to think, why not just do it? Why not just, wake up at 4 a.m.? But I had the lived experience where it was ingrained in me from a very young age that I have those barriers. So that is something I'm going to try and give some good general advice on. But what I would say, and I'll give a small example, right? So I knew one of my strengths was sales, and you should always hone in on that and capitalize on that. But you should also lean in your weakness and figure out how to make it better. Because to be an entrepreneur, you need to be well-rounded, right? So in terms of, I've been the head of HR, I've been the CFO, I've been the CTO, I've been all these different roles, and I know I'm good enough to do those roles to launch AudioMob with Wolford, and Wolford could do all the roles as well. But one thing I was really weak at was maths, statistics, and thankfully I'm very good now. But when I was at uni and I was doing that internship at Hewlett Packard, right, that was as a business analyst. All I'm doing is messing around with numbers all day. And statistics and maths was my worst subject. I actually failed it in my second year of uni, and then went to do a business analytics internship. And the reason I did that was I was like, okay, I need to brute force this and just get my mind comfortable working with big data sets, right? Or I'm not going to be the entrepreneur I want to be. And if I failed my retake, which I took, so I was studying during lunches during Hewlett Packard, to retake that exam, I'd failed my whole degree. Again, it's a bit, it's very Gary Vee-esque in terms of like really jumping in and making that sacrifice. But for me, it's lean into your weakness and conquer it, and you will be much, much more well-rounded. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs that are starting out, and I've made these mistakes as well. Like I wanted to outsource the numbers and the business model. I wanted to outsource all the things I don't want to do. You don't have to become a master, but you need to get a tiny bit good at it so you become a well-rounded entrepreneur. I can't stress how important that mindset is. We were really researching the disciplines around how to raise money. And once we got that down and we knew we had a good pitch, we built some relationships. We're like, all right, let's leave our companies, let's build this quick, let's raise quick. And luckily that worked out. But it did take like 18 months to figure that out. In the first year that I was trying to figure out how to raise money, I was using all of my holidays. Like I saved 2 for Christmas. I was using all of my holidays to go to NDRC. Yeah, it's an institute in Dublin, because I was basically leaving at HQ. And I got into an incubator. So I used all my holidays to attend the incubator, and it was showing me how to raise money, how VCs think, what a pitch deck looks like. So some kind of incubator is very helpful. Going to hackathons is very helpful as well. So these are the things that I was doing to figure out how to raise money. Very, very difficult. The MVP stuff, I met Wolford, like we can build stuff, right? Getting to the MVP wasn't the difficult part. Because we had savings to invest in everything. It was figuring out how to raise money from VCs. Read Growth Hacker Marketing by Ryan Holiday. I'd say to every entrepreneur, every interview, read that damn book. It's amazing, and it teaches you he's taking notes now.
That's the note taker right there. He's going to read that in a week, by the way.
It's a brilliant book, and it helped me and Wilfred pivot out of the pandemic and get through it, right? It teaches you the mindset of working lean, working fast, and a trial and error mindset. And that's the second piece of advice to entrepreneurs. It's like you've got to take a trial and error mindset. Test absolutely everything. I tested 9 businesses before we got to AudioMob, and that is a really critical thing. Pitch after pitch after pitch, getting teared down, getting absolutely flogged, going back, reconstructing the pitch. I think I made like easily over 100 iterations of my pitch deck. I learned at the NDRC. There was a company, I think it's HR software called Tandem, and they raised their first $2 million, something like that, with 200 euros a month in sales. There was 2 million. It's next to no revenue, basically. And I always think, if I see that something is possible, it's possible, and I can probably do it. Me and Wolford raised the first $2 million of AudioMob, making less than $1 a month. Now, the way that we did that It is all about pitching a very succinct story and how you're going to execute that story. We proved that if we can make $1 in our advertising network, a month, we could scale that to $1 million a month, and then $10 million a month. So that's what you've got to prove, that if you can make that dollar and prove that you can, make $1 million a month, that is usually a very good strategy. But you've got to be very succinct in, persuading the VC that you have a plan and that you are skilled enough to deliver on it. Because I don't want to discourage people, like, you want to start a fintech company, you've got to work at Goldman Sachs. Like, I get it, right? Like, Wolford had Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan and Google on the CV. I had Google and Facebook, and we're starting an ad network, right? And like, VCs are going to listen to us, right? Now, you don't have to still work at the best companies, but you've got to prove that you're in like the 1% of people that could build it. So the specialist thing that you do that is relevant to what you're trying to build, emphasize that as well, and that could have the same effect depending on how you communicate. What we're working on now is we're purely concentrating on our expansion outside of gaming. So we started 18 months ago. So we've got 7 of the top 10 gaming developers on the planet now. We've got 1,000 games. That's a good business ticking along. And we're now really concentrating on doing exactly the same in the streaming space. So like music streaming, podcasts, utility apps, dating apps, etc. So that's going extremely well. We are working on expanding the sophistication of our internal AI. Now, this is going to sound scary. It's not, depending on who you are. But we basically trained an internal AI. And what it does is it analyzes audio signals in the games and the apps that our ad unit is in. And using just the audio signals, so not personal data, just the audio, we can predict someone's age, gender, political affiliation, income. And let's just say the largest audio advertising companies in the world are using this tech. Governments are using this tech. So that's another massive growth area. It's like insane. And we're also concentrating on our expansion into India and Southeast Asia via Singapore. I mean, users can look this up if they want, but there's a company called AppLovin, right? It's worth over $150 billion now, I imagine. And they basically do what we do, but in the video space. So they've built up their whole network, the whole ecosystem in the video space. And we've done exactly the same in the audio space. Now, we're thinking of becoming like an omni-channel distributor of audio ads, right? So it's not just games, we're in non-gaming apps, we're going into TVs, we're going into something very exciting that I can't say right now, but basically anywhere where a video ad would disrupt someone, an audio ad could come in and be less disruptive. So to give you an idea, the mobile gaming addressable market, so the size of the whole market, is $184 billion. We've got that market. We've got the non-gaming market, which is $320 billion. We have that market. We've got the TV market, which is, I believe, $87 billion. So you can see, like, all of these markets that we're now adapting our technology to go into, we can become a very serious player. So I wasn't kidding all those years ago when I said this is the stuff of like a multi-billion-dollar company. We can see how to get there. So that is definitely where we're going. And yeah, we've actually got a lot of the partnerships to get to the revenue we need to actually get to that valuation. So another thing we're working on is just expanding our partnerships with the buyers, the advertisers. Now that we've got the ad space to actually get them, there's iHeartMedia. They're the world's number 2 advertiser. We work with SiriusXM, the world's number 1. Cats Media is number 3. So you might not have heard of these people, but we've basically got the biggest advertisers in the world in our space and the biggest game developers. And our technology is linking them both together. So we've just got to scale what we've already attained rather than going out and getting a lot of new business. So what I mentioned about the whole audience predictive piece, so we generate all of these audiences and then we let these big advertisers send ads to these audiences, right? So we predict like age and gender, whatever. And if someone wants an 18-year-old that has a certain political alignment or whatever, we can send ads to those people using predictive technology. So that's massive. There's other things as well where we can basically review ad content. So a lot of humans used to do this many years ago, where if an ad that's supposed to, be categorized to sell shoes is categorized wrongly, or if it's an advertiser that is trying to, play the system by sending a gambling ad to a kid's game or something, right? A lot of humans would review these ads. We do human review as well because we're very careful. We've never had these problems, but we use AI now to review tens of thousands of ads, like per hour. Like it's absolutely insane. I'm going to get that down to per minute. And there's all other kinds of things like voice cloning, right? So again, don't want to scare people. I think it's quite cool, but what you're able to do now via AudioMob is, let's say you're using that, playing a game or whatever. The ad could literally say "Good morning" because it's morning where you are. I see you're playing a racing game and that you're near a McDonald's. Why don't you go check it out for a discount or something? So we can tailor an ad to every single person. So yeah, AI has completely changed the game, and it's not just for my industry, it's pretty much every industry.